Welcome back to Haunted by Tapes with the Frog Brothers Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to Haunted by Tapes with the Frog Brothers Podcast.
Welcome back.
Welcome. Tonight's feature presentation, Silent Night, Deadly Night 3.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, no subtitle there. By the time you're getting to a third
No, there's
one,
a subtitle.
Oh, there is?
What is it?
I don't fucking know. I just saw that when I streamed this shit free on Tubi.
I'll have to look it up now.
Oh,
There is
fuck.
one.
Here he goes, jumping on the internet.
Silent Night, Deadly Night 3. Better watch out.
Better watch out.
It's very small subtitle, so that's why.
So this one goes full on. It doesn't know if it wants to be Nightmare on Elm Street or
Completely
Michael
boring.
Myers vibes, but yeah, it's very.
It's shot well. It's beautiful to look at, but that's about all that's going for it. Bill Moseley. Seems like a made-up name. Plays Ricky.
Ricky's back. He didn't.
He was
really die.
later a sergeant or something in Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. And Army of Darkness, he was one of the monsters in it, so it's interesting. It's like the Deadite captain. Richard Meimer from West Side Story, as well as Ben Horn in Twin Peaks.
Hell yeah!
Also appearing from Twin Peaks, Eric DeRay, who plays Leo.
He's actually much cooler in this because he's got that blonde curly hair.
Yeah. And from David Lynch's Mulholland Drive, Lara Herring. She's, I believe she's Spanish.
Pretty good cast for
Side-eye.
third movie here.
Yeah. Kind of starts out with Laura and her doctor. Mm-hmm. It's funny that
Yeah, she's having these crazy dreams.
Her name is Laura, and there's two people from Twin Peaks in it who both say the name Laura in it, so it's kind of...
Mm-hmm. And
Dr.
Dr.
also
Newberry.
1989, which I believe Twin Peaks takes place technically in 1989, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Or at least the pilot was filmed in 89, I think.
So yeah, so you see Dr. Newberry's interviewing Laura, right, which you don't get their names right away, and she's having these crazy dreams. So it's already different vibes in the last two movies.
Yeah.
Besides, they did find a way to shoehorn in plenty of fucking footage from Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 into this.
Well, the thing is, about Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 has about 40 minutes or 30 minutes of footage from the first movie.
I know, that's why it's hilarious.
It recaps it all, and he's telling... It starts off similar. He's in a mental hospital telling the story to a doctor. By the end of the movie, he kills the doctor, obviously, and escapes. But then he ends up here, apparently, with a brain jar of some sort up there.
A brain jar. After he gets, what do they say? He gets shot 6 times at the end of the second movie? And
Six
times?
666 times in the head.
Some sort of neo-skunk thing over here.
What? He's got the hair!
Excuse me while I introduce Mr. Thick Dick to Mr. Urinal Cake.
Basically, the doctor's trying to get her to contact Ricky, also in a coma.
Yeah, because Ricky's been in a coma for 6 years. Or maybe it was the 6 years is the coma length.
I don't know, but 66 times in the head.
Anyway, part of his head got fucking shot off, so they got this cool glass jar. It's very Pinky in the Brain-esque. Pretty
It's very
Pinky in the
funny.
Brain.
I like how she has a Braille watch. I've never thought about that before. See her reading her Braille watch, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. Why?
Yeah, 'cause
you would
Laura-
have to have a Braille watch. Otherwise, you'd be like, what fucking time is it?
Laura has a very interesting backstory that I'd like to get into right now. So, Laura
I will gladly show you now.
Laura is blind, which you don't immediately catch that, right? They're kind of subtle with it as you introduce it. But then later on, you see her seeing a different doctor talking about her upbringing, seeing a therapist, and she's trying to figure out her clairvoyancy. And you discover that both of her parents died in a plane crash, and she survived and became blinded from it. So, pretty interesting.
I guess.
I don't know. Random. But, where was her brother at during all that? Was he just not on this flight?
Speaking of random, she's trying to talk to the lady at the counter. She won't talk back to her after she already called her a bitch a few minutes ago. Mm-hmm. And then the lady's dead for a second, and she can see that. And then she can't see, and she's back in reality. And Leo is waking her up, and he's like, hey, I'm here to pick you up. Let's go.
Yeah, so she's having these visions that are basically through Ricky, through the clairvoyancy, which is kind of poorly executed, but hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like interesting when that's happening because like you see these violent visions that Ricky's kind of having or dreaming about, and then she sees it and then is horrified constantly by going back and forth to being able to see and not being able to see.
I missed a lot on this movie also because it's hard to pay attention when the movie's not holding your attention.
It was a rough one, and it's not that it was just boring. It wasn't like so bad where you're like, oh man, the writing's terrible. It was just boring.
Not so bad it's good.
No, it was just boring.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, one of my first notes is that the doctor's fucking with Laura in her sleep because he's trying to manipulate her clairvoyancy, right? And they make a big deal about this. And then Ricky gets reawakened by a drunken Santa Claus because this is all taking place on Christmas Eve.
Who has some good-ass jokes, though.
He's fucking hilarious. He was the best part of the fucking movie, and he's only
Who's your favorite singer? Perry Como?
Yeah.
And he says,
Makes a drinking joke to him as well. I forget which one that one was, though.
Yeah, I'll get back to that in a second, I think. Oh, maybe not. I didn't write that one down. Oh, yeah. Do you want a drink? Oh, I didn't realize vegetables don't drink.
Yeah, vegetables don't drink. And you're like, yeah, Jesus. It's pretty funny.
And then Leo's introducing... I'm just calling him Leo. I'm sorry. I don't know his name. Leo in Twin Peaks.
Chris is the brother's name.
Well, I'm calling him Leo because it makes me happy.
And
Leo
Jerry
introduces...
is his girlfriend.
There you go. Jerry to Laura. I got this far. Now I'm stumped. No, wait. I got this. Don't be fucking taking a breath like you're about to talk.
Do you not want me to fucking talk in these reviews? And you're like, God damn it, I watched this movie. I want to...
She's basically a bitch to Jerry. She said, Jerry says something like, oh, your brother tells me you're psychic. And she's like, yeah, well, my brother tells me you give good head. She didn't say my brother. I assume he's the brother. I don't know.
Yeah, that's her brother, is what it's all said as anyway. So that's her brother, and then they're going to see their granny on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And then some of this, I legit fucking don't know what happened on it because I just couldn't fucking
My next note is that Ricky is hitchhiking after he escapes the hospital. Mm-hmm. Because he kills that guy, and he doesn't take the Santa suit. Which,
no.
I'm like, why not?
I was really disappointed in that. That was the one thing I was looking forward to. And then later on, you're just like, wait, he just has this chrome dome. And they're like, hey, we put the special effects on. We can't put the Santa hat on him because we got this glass dome.
You don't have to put the Santa hat, but at least the costume and the beard or something would.
Yeah, the costume would have been great. The jacket, at least.
Yeah.
Fuck, red pants. I don't care. Yeah, so...
And then he's having dinner with the old lady is my next note. Which is their grandma that he... psychically hears her tell them directions to where they're going, so he just heads there, I guess, is what
he heads there, too.
And then he gets there early, and they're like, oh, poor guy, we'll hang out with him and feed him dinner and shit.
Yeah, shit, like, Granny's really kind to him, Granny's great for him. You get this bit, I like how we said that in stereo, so you get the flashback of the end of the second movie when they're driving by the same... school where the I don't know if it's orphanage or whatever they call it. I don't remember we watched these last year, so I'm not on point with this.
Yeah, I feel that.
But I mean, they're basically rehashing that, so you're trying to get the vibe from the last one here if you're really into these. But I love it that once they realize that Ricky killed 2 people at the hospital, everyone's all trying to freak it out, and they're like realizing what's going on, and then.
I almost was like, is this another basket case movie where they're going to be psychically connected because it's fucking a relative? I was expecting that.
You're almost expecting to go that route.
And I couldn't tell you if they did go that route because I wasn't paying enough attention.
Well, Jerry and Chris have a hot bathtub scene.
Damn, I missed that. Is that any good?
She gets all topless in the bath, and he's sitting there and joins her in the bath, and then she turns around and...
Does he hang dong?
I don't know. They don't show his ding-a-ling-a-dong.
Oh, so he doesn't then.
I guess not.
Showing it is hanging dong.
Yeah, no, they didn't show it.
No, well, they should have.
I thought you were referring to the size of his member.
No, I'm just saying, is he hanging dong?
Yeah.
Which just means, is he showing me his penis?
No, he does not show his ding-a-ling-a-dong.
All right, I guess.
Anyway, so then, they got to fight off Ricky because he's there at the house. And they do some pretty much basic tropey stuff. He breaks his
The
hand.
grandma
through
gives him a present at one point, and then I think he kills her right after. That's literally my last note.
I didn't even realize he killed her. I just remember him fighting everyone else later.
I think I just assumed he killed her because that's when he snapped.
I didn't even catch that part.
I have no more notes on the movie.
I got 1 page of notes, and I was disappointed because the first one's like a real special fucking piece of shit. The second one's a special piece of shit in its own right, and this one just
second one is like, it's on par with The Room for me. It's that bad. It's so hilarious because it just keeps this weird laughing is throughout the whole movie, and it just gets funnier and funnier, that movie.
This one has none of that. Like, you get that one
Their
funny
stories
scene.
have none of that.
The drunken Santa Claus is the best, and then Leo, a.k.a. Chris, is, fighting off these people and, winds up saving his sister at the end.
He gets killed.
Yeah. And, like, she's there, like, mourning his loss, basically, at the end, because, she's blind. You can't kill the blind girl in a movie. I don't even know what happened to Jerry. Did she die, too? I have no idea.
I don't know what happened to anybody. How many people did he even kill? I don't remember one. So that's how bad this got.
He killed 2 people at the hospital, and then he killed the granny.
Oh, I remember him killing the drunk Santa at the hospital,
and
obviously.
then Chris, yeah. So there's like...
So assumably the granny, Chris, assumably Jerry, too, then.
And it's way less violent than any of the other ones. There's like way less gore and stuff in this. And you're just like, what are you doing with the...
What kind of assholes review a movie and don't even watch it?
I mean, we tried. We just couldn't get through it. And it's not that it was like, oh, we stopped watching it. And it was on. My brain was just like...
Yeah, my brain was like, this is interesting, but Twitter is also interesting.
Yeah, you're just
and more interesting than this movie is right now.
Casually doom scrolling away, and like I even tried pausing it when I had something going on, and I'd go back to it and I'd be like, huh, because I watched about half of it last night. And
reading about it on IMDb was more interesting than watching it, so I definitely did that.
Yeah, actually, if you're looking to watch this movie, watch the first 2. Read the synopsis of this one and then skip right to 4. I don't know how 4 is yet. We're going to watch that next year.
And there's 5.
But
we're doing 4 this year.
Oh, okay.
We're watching it next. That's for next week, baby.
Fuck yeah. Well, anyway, you'll hear how that one is.
Yep.
So.
5 we'll do next year, though.
And obviously they got somebody else playing Ricky, too. So when they try to do these flashback scenes, it's annoying because they don't have any of the same cast. Everyone's just like, oh, I think I can write a sequel to that. Sounds a lot like a fan film conversation we had recently, except this one is the best shot of the 3 so far.
I mean, I'd rather watch this than Ghostbusters Hell Fury any day.
Well, who the fuck wouldn't? I mean,
and it doesn't exist, so the chances of me having to watch this again over that are pretty likely anyway.
It's a pretty high chance that that's going to happen.
How long have we been going? That determines if I'm done with this episode or not. 12 minutes. Well, I don't know what else to say about this movie.
I mean, I think watch the first 2, and then this one you can kind of have on in the background. If you're like doing some cleaning or something, you don't really need to pay attention because you're not really going to remember it. And then you really just need to watch it, to watch it, to get to the 4th one.
I mean,
that's the whole reason we watch this, right? There's 4 and 5, so you're like, okay, the 3rd one's got to be something to get us to these next ones, right? But they're all something completely different.
Like, it's one thing for the movie to just be a little bad, like the first one is, but it's an old slasher movie, and it's still pretty good in that, right? And then the second one is just comical and hilarious take. And then this one is the boring one, and I don't know what 4 is going to be. But you never know, because there's some franchises where they start out bad, then they get good, and there's some that start out good and then get worse and then get better again.
Sequelitis can have that ebb and flow, right? And this is just one that's, and I don't even want to say it's bad, it's just not memorable, because I don't remember watching anybody that's on shows like Twin Peaks or any of these other great pieces of art that you're just like, oh, this person's terrible. You're just like, no, this movie's just boring.
Yeah.
And then that's the summary. It should be called Silent Night, Boring Night.
Silent Night, Uneventful Night In.
Yes.
Part 3.
Silent Night. Take an Ambien and see if you can jerk off before you fall asleep.
Silent Bob and Jay.
Basically.
Now we're just saying things to say them. I have no other content for you guys tonight, so...
Like, subscribe, and watch something more entertaining than this movie. And that should be everything on our fucking channel.
Fucking
so
100%.
You're welcome.
Have a good night. Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Frog Brothers Podcast. We'd greatly appreciate it if you could like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. And if you're listening on the audio feed on Spotify or Apple or Twitcher or wherever you listen, tell your friends and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube at youtube.com/thefrogbros. Hit us up on Instagram at Frog Bros Podcast, on Twitter at bros_frog, on TikTok at Frog Bros Podcast, and follow us on Facebook. Join our Facebook group Frog Bros Video by searching just that, Frog Bros Video. Hit request to join and you'll be approved. We have shirts available. The link is in our Instagram bio and below in the description. And you can find stickers on Etsy at Frog Bros, all one word. Additionally, if you'd like to give us a call and leave a voicemail soon, our Patreon will be live and we'll be posting monthly responses and reactions to the voicemails. Dial 816-832-5388.
This is Laura Summer, the original Janine Melnitz on The Real Ghostbusters, and you're listening to the Frog Brothers Podcast.